You're listening to the Cricket Podcast.
Right, let's move on to India v Australia. And before we do that, if you're watching this on YouTube, click like and subscribe for more cricket podcast content. English viewers or viewers in the UK, it was time to switch your TV over to everyone's new favourite channel, Utsav Gold HD, where the actual, the standard of advertising has improved. So the India-Pakistan game, when we were watching it for that, there was an advert down for my local Indian restaurant.
No way.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been down there, Dawat, in Norbury. It was pretty good. That's how I found out about it. It was literally halfway through India v Pakistan. Now it's just, I think it's 3 mobile or something like that. So they've after presumably millions of people tuned in to watch that, they realised there is some commercial value in what they're selling. India batted first. They went nuts, hit 208, which seemed like a lot of runs. It was the usual suspects doing the damage. Surya Kumar Yadav and Hardik lighting up the Aussie attack. Although King Legend, 55 off 35, wasn't too bad either by his standards. He had another great quote about strike rates not mattering in the week.
Yeah, I saw
we'll get
that.
to that. He really doubled down on the biggest load of nonsense he's ever said. In response, and I thought this was really interesting, and it was kind of a weird match. Both these T20s were weird, actually. The England game too. Cameron Green opened the batting for Australia, having never hit a pro T26 in his career. Got 61 off 30 at double his previous strike rate in T20 cricket. Now, there's some reasons why Cameron Green might not have had a huge body of work behind him, but a little bit of a bolt from the blue, I think, this innings. The Aussies, then there was a bit of ebb and flow. Maxwell didn't get many runs. Steve Smith clogged things up before your boy, Dan, Matty Wade, came to the rescue at the end to steer the men in Canary Yellow to the dub. Can we talk about Cameron Green?
Yeah.
And what was going on there?
Well, the first thing I'm going to say is that I'm fully expecting him to go for 15 crore in the next IPL auction.
Yes. That's definitely happening. 15 crores. I think he could break all sorts of records.
Yeah. He's just cost Sam Curran a couple of crore probably. There's no doubt. I think that the all rounders are going to be pretty premium in the mini auction, I should say. I didn't see this coming at all. Australia have kind of toyed with looking at alternative opening combos. I think Ashton Agar actually opened a couple of times a few months back, and it's an interesting one because obviously Inglis, Wade, are all very capable openers as well. But they've kind of been preferred in these more sort of lower order roles, which I guess kind of makes sense as well in terms of Inglis being a great spin hitter and Wadey also kind of being able to be so flexible in numerous roles and having kind of nailed that finisher role for Australia over the last year or two as well. So, they've obviously got that little hole without Warner there. But this is something that they're going to have to look at as well subsequently post World Cup because you've got Finch. I think is going to not be around for too much longer in international cricket. You've got Warner and Smith who are now well into their 30s as well. So this top three is going to need an overhaul at some point in time. So it's probably a good idea to try and find a few candidates for that, I should say.
Yeah, he wouldn't have been my first choice.
No,
with his career strike rate of 102, but it paid off, big style, didn't it? He's a really talented cricketer, Cameron Green, and I do expect him to go for an absolute bomb at the auction. Australia in general, though, look like they're heading towards rolling out a pretty competent T20 11 for this World Cup. In home conditions. Just looking at this batting order today, and you've got Warner to come in to improve things. Finch, Green, Smith, Maxwell, Inglis, Tim David, Matt Wade at 7, Pat Cummins at 8. In theory, Mitch Stark could come in at 9 and give you that left arm angle, and then completing the bowling, maybe Zampa and Hazelwood. Well, probably will be Zampa and Hazelwood. That on both sides of the ball looks pretty decent to me.
Yeah,
Dan.
I think there's areas that you can improve. Certainly, I don't have high expectations of Finch with the bat in the tournament,
yeah,
and I don't
sure.
have particularly above average expectations of Steve Smith either.
No, yeah.
But apart from that, I mean, the team looks stacked really. And yeah, Cummins at 8 gives some nice depth. Ellis can bat as well, and probably is the most improved bowler in T20 cricket in the last year.
I
and a
was
half.
so impressed with him at the 100 as
Yeah,
well. Actually,
yeah, so good. And they've got kind of a lot of choice. You know, you mentioned Stark can come in, Kane Richardson can come in, who did really well for us at Phoenix this year as well. So there's a lot of choice, a lot of quality options that they can bring in off the bench or around that squad as well. And I think also I wouldn't underestimate the nous of Andrew McDonald as well, who I think is an excellent coach and very, very smart guy from my dealings with him at Birmingham as well. So they look to be a strong package at home, I think.
I wouldn't be stunned at all if they repeated. Obviously, it's a very high variance tournament, but they definitely, I think they've improved on a team that I think most people would say weren't the best team at the last World Cup.
Well,
Now I think they legitimately could go into their home World Cup as maybe the best on paper team, with India also in question. I think India are going to have a problem with Bhuvaneshwar Kumar.
India's got a problem in a few areas.
Can we talk about some of them? I've highlighted Bhuvi there, and I'm specifically talking about his death bowling, which seems to have fallen off a cliff in the last 12 months or so. Do they need to make some kind of a change, or what can they do to cover that potential decline? Bumrah coming back in might help.
They've got two power play bowlers playing in this game, Bhuvi and Umesh Yadav, and one guy who's a noted death bowler in Harshal Patel. Now you need more than that. You can't get away with that. So you need, out of those two opening bowlers, you need at least one who's capable of bowling at the death as well. Bumrah and Arshdeep Singh tick those boxes, and I think that they should be now getting towards certainly I don't expect Yadav to play anyway as a reserve player and a random call up to start with. But I mean, like a Bumrah or an Arshdeep in for Yadav would strengthen them fairly significantly. Now I've actually been quite an advocate of this for a while, in that I feel like Bhuvi is someone who you should look to play like that Deepak Chahar role at CSK, where you literally bowl 3 in the power play and maybe getting done by like over 10, over 12 max. Just don't. There's no need to have. You may as well play a player in a role which they're suited towards and what plays to their strengths, rather than using them in a role which is just, patently not their best area. I look at this India team and I don't understand how a country who has the biggest talent pool in the world by a mile, has the biggest domestic T20 franchise league in the world by a mile, somehow puts this 11 out. I just blows my mind. It absolutely does.
Can we talk about that in more detail? So
yeah, sure.
Where are we? Where are the problems?
Okay, well, we'll go from top to bottom. Obviously, we've spoken about KL Rahul in terms of the strike rate doesn't matter. I think it's probably been a recurring theme ever since I came on this podcast a few years back the first time. That's just a shame Ross isn't here to elaborate further. Obviously, he did play the decent innings yesterday, but this is a long-standing problem that we've had to discuss with him too. I'm not of the mindset that Rohit Sharma now is anywhere near his peak level, and I think that certainly you can say the same thing for Virat Kohli as well. And the Sharma Kohli axis at 2 or 3, if you like, is for me a massive problem. And this is all because you've got a situation where team management appear to be either unwilling or unable to look at predict decline or to understand that decline can happen and or players being picked on name or whatever it is.
Yeah, but hold on, Dan, I have to stop you there because Virat Kohli got 100 against Afghanistan last week, and and everything's good again now.
Yeah, of course it is.
That's a fact.
Yeah. Let's see is what I'll say right now. I'm fully expecting an IPL with a strike rate of about 130 max, 125, 130 max, averaging 30 plus probably. That will be my expectations. Whether that's worth 15 crore, I don't think it is, but that's a debate for another day, maybe. Now, obviously, I've got no problem with Suryakumar Yadav or Hardik Pandya, who are both exceptional talents and exceptional players, full stop. But I don't understand how you can have a Axar Patel number 6 who's not a hitter at all. That's just weird.
I don't know that. Yeah, I think they've just looked for the guy who most looks like Jadeja, I think, and played.
Why is he batting ahead of Kartik?
I don't know. I think did Dinesh Kartik bat 7 for RCB and hit some runs once?
That's the luxury. That's luxury.
That's yeah. So who do you? What would you flip them round? What's your call on that?
100%. And also you need more hitting ability from 7. If you switch around 7, 8, 9 kind of thing as well, there's none there really. There's not a lot there at all.
Jadeja solves some of that problem.
100%, yeah. But you've got this long-term problem. I know it's something we discussed for a long time, where I don't think India have got many multi-skilled players. They don't have many batters in their top 6 who are even match-up bowlers, really. And they don't have many bowlers who can hit, and that's a big problem.
And they don't have many left-handers.
So you throw all those things into the mix, and you've got a fairly exploitable team. A team who could still win the World Cup because they've got 5 or 6 guys who are so good.
Yes. Yeah.
But they should be so much better than what they actually are.
Yeah. My fear for them is that not even to cover the weaknesses, that they assume some of the weaknesses you've outlined are strengths, and then that means that they don't use their actual strengths. What I mean here is that I can see in this game, part of the reason they got 208 is because Suryakumar Yadav came in the 5th over. Like when a normal number 3 would come in, which is probably where he should be batting for this side. Another one of the reasons is that Hardik Pandya comes in the 12th over. Great entry point for Hardik Pandya. He's going to face 25 balls. You know, he's got enough time. He can have a look at 5 of them, and then he can just do what he wants. It's the perfect time to bring him in, basically. In a lot of games with King Legend, Rohit Sharma and Kohli in your top 3, that isn't going to be where they come in. And
they're coming in a lot of pressurized situations as well, needing to increase the run rate.
Yeah, and that I think is you've prioritized your weakness, the low strike rate of your top 3, and weakened your strength, the dynamism of Suryakumar Yadav and Hardik Pandya.
Yeah.
Which is it'll be interesting to see what happens. With them, whether they make any changes, it doesn't seem like they will. I feel like that they're pretty set that this is going to be something near the team. Maybe they bring Rishabh Pant in for Dinesh Kartik and he bats 4 and they move Yadav and Pandya down further. I don't know if that's genius. In fact, I'm pretty sure it isn't genius.